Sean Hannity is President Trump's biggest cheerleader, so he doesn't have much to say about the president repeatedly cheating on his wife. Now, normally, I don't give a shit about that either. I don't talk about it as Democrats. I try not to talk about it when it's Republicans, unless it's linked into a bigger issue. In the case of Trump, it is linked into potential campaign finance violations, so I think that part of the story is legitimate. The other part of the story, it's a private life thing. I don't think it affects policy, largely irrelevant, so I try to be consistent on that point. Here's who's not consistent. Sean Hannity. So Media Matters found this clip. This is back during the 2008 election. This was during the primary. You had John Edwards came out. He cheated on his wife, by the way, while she had cancer. Damn, son. That's called doing the full Gingrich, because Newt Gingrich did the same thing. But anyway, take a look and then we'll discuss.
In Elizabeth Edwards' statement, and by the way, if she decides that she wants to forgive her husband, I think, God bless her. I think that's a lesson in what real forgiveness is about. I'm a Christian. Jesus on a cross saying, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." That is a sign of love that, I think all human beings can aspire to. So if that in her personal life is her choice, I admire her. I think that's great. But she did take a shot at the Inquirer, and she said, most recently, the pain is caused by the desire for sensationalism and profit without regard for human consequences. She's got to know he's running for president. She's got to know he is a contender for vice president, or was. So I honestly applaud the Inquirer.
Well, I guess it comes down to whether you think this type of stuff needs to be in the public domain or not, and I think we probably disagree. I tend to think that it is a private matter.
If you're going to be the president?
And I think... Yeah, I do. I don't think that...
It doesn't matter if you're president and you're having an affair.
Look, as far as I can tell, George Bush has been faithful to his wife. I don't think he's been that great of a president. That's just my personal... I know you disagree with me. But I don't think that that's the mark necessarily. FDR, JFK, there are plenty of people. But I do think that it was brought into the public domain by her husband,
But if you're living a life that's a lie,
right?
If you're not honest, it's a character issue.
It is a character issue.
Don't we have a right to know before we elect somebody?
My feeling is it's a character issue. If I was looking at that person, do I want to marry this person? That's a decision. But it's for...
But if you cheat on your wife, are you going to be honest with your country?
But we have plenty of... do you think that FDR was not an honorable president? I think that he was. So I don't think that should necessarily be the measure. But to Elizabeth's point, her husband put this in the public domain.
All right, we got to take a break.
Quote, if you cheated on your wife, are you going to be honest with your country? If you're not honest, it's a character issue. And he said derisively, it doesn't matter if you're president and you're having an affair? To 100% imply, no, it does matter. That does matter. That absolutely matters. That speaks to his character. That speaks to how honest the person is. Can't trust somebody who has an affair. Can't do it. Weird that Sean Hannity is not really upset about Donald Trump having an affair. See, listen, man, this is why... nobody should ever fall for the easy content, the sensationalist content, because it will always be flipped back on you 100% of the time. And Sean Hannity is just probably the worst rank partisan tribalist actor in media. I think that's fair to say. The NSA was another great example of it. Under George W. Bush, he framed that program as to protect the country from terrorists, and if you don't support that program, you're weak on terror. And then under Obama, he reframed it as a clear violation of your right to privacy and your Fourth Amendment protection from unreasonable search and seizure, and the government should not have that ability to spy on everybody. So same program, two different presidents. One time he supports it, one time he's against it. Why? Because he supported it under the Republican, hated it under the Democrat, because he's a tribalist partisan idiot. He's a hack. That's what he is. Now you see it with affairs. What do you think his take was with Bill Clinton and his affair with Monica Lewinsky? You think he was like, whatever, who cares? None of our business, private lives. No, his take was, this is outrageous, this is terrible, this is wrong. John Edwards, you cheated on your wife? How do we know you're going to be honest with the country? You're obviously not honest. Donald Trump, is he saying he's not honest? Is he saying he's not fit to be president? No. So again, be consistent, man. Be consistent. And you guys can check. I've done very few segments on Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal. The only time I mentioned them was if there was an angle to the story beyond just he had an affair. And, the new news that broke the other day was, oh, he may have used campaign money in order to pay them off. Okay. Then there's an issue of campaign finance violations, and it's a real story in my opinion. When he's just cheating on his wife, he's an asshole and a douchebag, and we all kind of thought he was that anyway, so where the fuck is the story? There is no story, in my opinion. So I try to be consistent, and I try to have a standard. My standard is I'm going to leave it aside unless there's another angle to the story, an angle of, like with Stormy Daniels, there was an angle once of, oh, they threatened her, allegedly paid somebody to threaten her. Okay, now that's a story, because that's beyond just an affair. And now you have the campaign finance angle. That's when I cover it. I don't cover it when it's just the affair. And I try to be consistent on that, whether it's Democrats, whether it's Republicans. But the thing is also, we have to be clear about this. There is an angle of wanton hypocrisy when it's people on the right as a general rule. Because a lot of them run as family values people. The sanctity of marriage, and I'm against gay marriage because we need one man, one woman. The sanctity of marriage. And then they're cheating on their wives. And it's like, oh, where's your sanctity, fuckface? So there's got to be another angle than just the affair. There's got to be either hypocrisy or there's got to be something there that makes it more noteworthy. Hannity, there is no standard. There is no consistency. There is no objectivity. It's just fling mud against the wall and hope it sticks when it's Democrats. When it's Republicans, play defense. And if you don't see that by now, there's no hope.